The Power Hour is live. KFAN.com/watch is where you can find us. It's all powered by Quantum Fiber.
Thank you. And I'm wearing my St. Patrick's FC shirt now. Look at this. Sweet, man. Right?
Pretty sweet, indeed, yeah.
I like that guy. He's a good dude, man.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was sweet. So
Rosen,
are we going?
We're definitely going. Rosen,
To Ireland.
How many times have you been to Dublin there, Rosen?
I've never been to Dublin.
Never?
No, I all the trips
You'd
to Europe.
love it.
I know it. You guys
It's
know what
lovely.
you
I've
talk
been there.
about.
I love it.
I've been there 4 times on St. Patrick's Day.
Incredible.
Wow.
Once
No,
with the
I
Power
never
Trip morning
had the,
show. It's super fun.
It's just like every place you go over there, Rosie, you're like, man, we got such history over here. And you go over there,
Well,
you're like, oh, my God.
I know it.
I went
it's
to
so true.
Kilkenny, or however you say it.
Yeah, Kilkenny, yeah.
We
Yeah.
sang in a church, I kid you not, a church that was 1,000 years old.
Just to go play on a golf course over there would be enough to.
Yeah, Old Head, that's hockey's favorite golf course.
It
Wonder
really
why.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It really is.
sweet. Old Head is sweet.
Don't knock it till you try it, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
My wife and kiddos came last time, right, when
remember
the
you told
Power
me
Trip
about
went a
that.
couple of years
Yeah.
ago. So the first 3 times I went were in my 20s before I met any of them. But anyway, but they went to Belfast, and I know, Hawk, you've been there.
Yeah.
I have too,
Abby and
yeah.
I went
One of the
last time,
days
yeah.
that we had to broadcast, the girls hit a bus or a train, I forget,
Right.
and went up to Belfast, and they raved about Belfast.
Yeah.
I think they
unreal.
liked Belfast more than they liked Dublin, and I love
Well,
Dublin.
and
And
think
that could
about-
start a
yeah.
war, so please be careful.
Yeah.
Well,
They were-
I mean,
they
I
were
was
big
going to
fans
say,
of
think
Belfast.
of all the hell that.
Man, it's unbelievable.
Right, yeah.
Gone through it.
That's something, you and I have talked about this before, Saucy, to see the literal wall separating.
Yeah.
You can't believe that that's happening, and that's real.
Right.
It's
And,
unreal.
Yeah, like when I was over there, you had to get different money. Like
It's English money
yeah,
over there.
correct.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you can go to Van Morrison's home that he grew up in as a kid.
And he'll throw you right out of
Yeah,
there.
he probably will. Yeah, that mean old
Is he
ass.
still around?
He's dead.
Oh, what? That'd be terrifying. I don't want him dead. You guys don't care about my stupid stories.
God, you're right.
Well, at least the Vikings are going back to Tottenham this year.
Yeah,
so.
that's cool, man.
One of the best stadiums ever.
I love that place. I love
Yeah.
I love going to London, period. But I might take a little extra time and go back to Ireland and see Scotland as well.
Well,
if you're already over there, you might as well.
Might as well go.
That's exactly what I'm doing this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever come back, though. What about
I
you?
might not ever come back
No,
either.
and what happens if
By the way,
Hawk was missing?
are we
We'll
just
go
a
looking
couple
for
of
you.
weeks away from officially knowing that date? I know people have a pretty
Sure.
strong feeling
Right.
about when it's going to be, but doesn't the
Right
NFL
after the draft.
Right after the
They're going
draft?
to play right after the draft?
No, I mean, I think the schedule will be announced. I mean, I had heard it was right after.
But don't they announce the international games a couple of weeks before
to
the
your
rest
point,
of the schedule?
To your point, yes. We know the Vikings are playing there. We do not know their opponent. The date, pretty good idea when that's going to be. But yeah. But yes, correct. I think those international games will be announced before the rest of the schedule.
And for everyone who's getting extremely excited about the opportunity, right? I believe the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins, but Atlanta was over there last year. So they will be at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Right.
Atlanta's not going to be the team that goes
keep in mind,
back to London.
This is a home game for the Vikings. So, I mean, I think there'll be more tickets available for season ticket holders, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of flights announced or whatever charters. I mean, that
No, you're going to come with the Power Trip.
No, the Power Trip is doing
Well,
a trip.
that would be great.
We're definitely doing it.
Yeah, don't listen to the bosses down the hallway that are like, the Power Trip's gone on enough trips. No, that's what we're doing. We're going to London.
Why would we listen
Michael
to that?
Kenny's already
100%.
getting it all. He's already getting it figured
died.
out for us.
Everything
I'm
is-
texting with him right now.
Yeah, everything is lined up except for the dates, right? Michael's all over this. He's got everything
set.
locked and loaded. Just got to figure out exactly when the flights are, and as soon as we know,
Man,
we're gonna get one going, and Power
really
Trip's going
fun
back to London
experience.
this fall.
I can only.
You have to go, Rose.
Oh, I'm going.
Oh, yeah. Your
I
other
love that
attorney
town.
will.
My other attorney is working over there. Yes, so I'll definitely be going. Yep, it was a wonderful time last night. My daughter was with me. That was a great time. It was phenomenal. Yeah,
I'm gonna look.
all good.
I'm just finding out
That
now. Rosie.
stadium. Oh,
Yeah.
Stadium's awesome. It's like top 2 or 3 I've ever been to,
super
and
loud.
it is the loudest stadium I've ever
Except
been
for
to.
when Lewis Seen got hurt and Rosie could
I
not stop
did
laughing.
not.
Hawk, you heard that.
The loudest stadium I've
my
ever been to went
God.
silent in fear, except for one cackling guy
Rosie.
I was crying. I felt so bad for that.
crying from laughter.
No, I kept showing the damn injury in-house
they
on the
did.
They
monitor.
did show that a few too many
By the
times.
way, that is the truth. And
no
I know
doubt.
we've rehashed this so many times, but
We
everybody
have.
back home said they showed it about once and realized it was horrific. The in-stadium monitors in the media section wouldn't stop showing it.
No.
We must have seen it, 20 times? And after about the first 3 times, I'm like, I can't watch this.
No.
This is
And
disgusting.
It was in slow motion.
Slow motion, the whole bit.
16K. You couldn't not see it.
It
Oh,
was
my.
disgusting.
Yeah, it was
Correct.
terrible.
Anyway.
That was the worst.
I hope that young man can recover mentally, too, from all of it.
Yeah, me too, man.
Well, I mean...
I know.
It's going to be the ultimate trump card that if his career never takes off, and let's just be honest, so far, he's done nothing.
No.
The trump card is how much did that derail his career?
Yeah,
like, would he have turned into something if that had not happened? Is this what he was going to be either way? We'll never be able to answer that question if it doesn't turn around.
It was interesting. Last night before the Wolves game, I was talking to a gentleman who I didn't know that was his profession, but he's the sports psychologist for the Wolves. And I know the Vikings employ plenty of people like that. And
yeah, that guy got highlighted a lot on quarterback, right, with Kirk Cousins. That guy got a lot of screen time when Kirk was talking to him.
And so, I mean, they have the resources that are available. If that indeed is the situation with Lewis and other things, I would think it would be. But physically, he has to be able to come back. He certainly displayed those skills that he had in college. So I hope this is a year where at least he can make an impact on special teams or just to come back and play. He's a good kid. I wish him well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Can I give you guys something equally important?
Yeah.
I've got one of the reviews for the new Roadhouse movie.
Oh, boy.
That's right. Now, Sauce, I want you to sit back and listen. Are you ready for this?
Pay attention for 2 minutes of your
Rosie
entire
might
life.
not remember, but we saw this film. Monday night, we had a special screening for just Power Trip listeners and some of the Power Trip staff who cares about things.
I was there.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry.
The Bourne Identity director, Doug Liman, seems to be having fun. His camera lingering on the chiseled beefsteak and mixing in honky-tonk songs. The action scenes are dynamite, layering point-of-view camera work with great thundering, bottle-smashing stunts. I know it knows it's silly, but it's still a good time. 3 out of 4 stars.
Really? And you agree? Of course you agree.
Yahoo News. What's the guy's name? Mark Kennedy. From the AP. AP. Not Adrian Peterson. He probably, by the way, loves it as well. That's exactly right. It knows it's silly, but it's having fun. That's exactly how I would say
That's
it.
the purpose of it.
That's right. It starts on Amazon on March 21st, which is tomorrow. So you can watch it in your own home.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Rosie. So there you go. Eat that sauce.
Oh.
You tried to leave halfway through it twice.
I
Really?
hated it. Yeah.
Yeah, he hated it because he didn't like
Here's
fun.
what. I hated the non-action scenes.
Yeah.
The non-action
Well,
scenes.
the
weren't
original
many of
wasn't. They
those.
weren't good either with Patrick Swayze and
Oh, don't say that, Rosie. I've never.
I think my heart just broke into 1,000 pieces. I liked it. I like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have
What's
your
happening?
attention?
The first game of the Major League Baseball season is in the books. The Dodgers win 5-2 over the San Diego Padres of Anaheim. That game was in Seoul. Are we saying South Korea or just Korea? Everybody on ESPN just keeps saying Seoul, Korea.
I think it's just Korea.
well, I mean,
Either way, Seoul.
there's a difference.
Yeah, there is.
He tried to cross the border.
Yeah, this game counts. I know
Yeah.
the rest of us don't start for about another week or so, but Dodgers and Padres absolutely counts. That one's in the books, 5-2
Dodgers
win.
may not lose till June. They are
they're that good.
loaded.
Yes, they are.
So is there one more game in
Yes, one
Seoul?
more.
Then they come back?
Yep.
And it's tomorrow?
Yep.
There you go.
All right, that one's done. All right, you want a quick fan 5 the rest of the
I
way?
don't. Hold on, I got it, buddy.
It's time for Fan 5, brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
Hey, thanks, Builders and Remodelers. Rosie, walk us through it because not only were you at the Wolves game, the shorthanded Timberwolves with no Gobert, no Cat, of course, and no Naz Reid.
Right.
But then the story came out about A-Rod and Laurie losing some backing. $300 million of backing, and they have one payment to go, and it's due in 7 days.
Well, neither one were there last night.
Yeah, they were on the phone trying to get some
Mark
money.
Laurie, yeah, I saw Glenn Taylor, but I didn't get a chance to talk with him. Talked to a few other people. I mean, there's been stories about this almost from day one. That will they have enough to get to the finish line and the final payment? They can delay it, I assume, and there's other creditors, banks, whatever that may fork over. It's still a lot of money, a lot of coin that they need to get their hands on. They're turning over to Glenn Taylor, and the deadline fast approaching, at least the man-made deadline, whether or not they can extend it. I assume they've already invested this much, both money and time, that they're thinking of that. So I don't know exactly where it stands right now, other than the fact that neither Rodriguez or Laurie were in their normal seats last night. So it's always problematic until that final check is given over. Final payments put in escrow, whatever they do with it. So, in the meantime, Glenn Taylor has it. There's a lot on the table with this thing. The value of the team continues to increase on a daily basis. I know those gentlemen want a new arena. There's a lot of talk about that, maybe going by the farmers market. I mean, I don't know how in the world else they're going to get this done. They can't tear down Target. They want to put it where Target Center is now. They have to tear it down, much the way the Dome happened in U.S. Bank, and then they have to go play someplace where the only place they can play would be at the X for 2 years. So I have no idea. First things first, and they need to get the financing, and I still want to believe that they'll find people that they have resources to get it done, but easier said than done. We've seen these things fall apart. There's a guy named Tom Clancy who held up a piece of paper and said, "We got him. I got him.
Yeah.
I own the Minnesota Vikings." They found out his soon-to-be ex-wife decided that, I need about $500 million of that bankroll you have, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, if you've watched Curb this year, you will know that all you have to do is call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now.
God.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was out of the studio for a moment, so forgive me if you addressed this. But is this why the deal was so weird to begin with? Were they thinking this might be the possibility that wouldn't happen in the end, and that's why they inched him into it?
There were question marks. Lori has certainly more money than A-Rod, but the glamorous aspect of it, of course, with Alex Rodriguez getting involved and Mark Lori becoming more the public face of what they want to do. I think people sort of kind of fell in love with the idea that these guys are going to put a little more pizzazz into the franchise, and the timing could not be better. The team is on the rise, obviously, but it's a business transaction and a very expensive one. So but there were more than a few whispers from the get-go. And again, that's very much could be done behind the scenes that we're not aware of right now. But I couldn't get anything out of anybody last night in particular, exactly where a lot of shrugging of the shoulders last night. We don't know what's going on.
That's sad.
The game itself was fun.
Outside of the Brodeen injury, a lot of things went the way of the Minnesota Wild last night. They won 4-0 over the Ducks. And Vegas and St. Louis both lost. In regulation, by the way, so they didn't even get the little bonus overtime point. The Lightning the Lightning beat Vegas 5-3, and Colorado beat St. Louis 4-3. So Vegas has the final wild card spot in the West as of right now with 79 points, and the Wild are just 3 points back.
Hell yeah.
They're hanging in there.
They are at the Los Angeles Kings of Anaheim tonight, though, at 9 o'clock. That's a tough one. Right. Vegas has Seattle on Thursday. Vegas' schedule looks pretty rough the rest of the way. Yeah, a couple games against Vancouver in there. I think Edmonton's in there. Obviously, they play the Wild.
You hate to think, going back to what Lou Nanny said, I was like, well, you hate to think of just making the playoffs as an accomplishment. The goal, of course, is to get to the Stanley Cup final. But for this team right now, it feels as if, given all the injuries, the salary situation, blah, 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 the coaching, it would be quite an accomplishment to come back all the way and get into the playoffs, at least to make it this year. After that, no one's going to be satisfied, we've already been there, done that. Sort of like the Timberwolves situation. And getting back to that team, and again, playing last night without the 3 bigs and going up against the defending champs, I will be on the record right now and saying if the Wolves are healthy, if Cat, Gobert, and Naz are back for the playoffs and they play Denver, I will take the Wolves 7 out of 7 times.
Same.
7-game
I agree
series.
with you.
100%. I think they're ready to and I would never have said this last year, the year before, of course, but I think they can take that next step.
So winning the West or just getting past the Nuggets?
Well, beating the Nuggets.
Both.
Maybe both. I think Denver, the team that I think Oklahoma City is a team that you have to obviously respect, and much like the Timberwolves, young and Starfield and a bunch of things going on, but in their favor, I think Oklahoma City has to be the team you got to look at.
Want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
Western Conference odds on DraftKings right now, just to win the West. Forget the title for a second. To win the West, where do the Wolves rank?
I'm sure it's not that even close.
6th.
No,
that is the correct answer.
That's just
6th.
I can't wait to get to Vegas. I hope they're still 6th out there.
The Denver Nuggets are the favorites at plus 160.
Right, that makes sense.
Get ready to laugh. But the Clippers are second at plus 295. Ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Then the Thunder, 8.5 to 1. If you think the Thunder are the real deal, 8.5 to 1 to win the West.
That makes more sense than the Clippers.
Yes.
Then the Suns are 10 to 1. The Mavericks are 13 to 1. Then the Timberwolves are 14 to 1.
I'm surprised they didn't put the
West.
Lakers ahead of them.
The Lakers are 20 to 1.
Yeah. Well, I will happy be happy to scoop that up and
At 14-1.
Yes.
They are 14-1 to win the West.
will.
They are.
14.
The Wolves are. Hang on, hold please. 35-1 to win the title. 35.
That means beating
1.
Boston because that's the team that would probably represent the East. And you know what? And I know he's limited, but our old Iowa guy was in here just a few minutes ago. Luka Garza last night. Talking about a fan favorite, and he went out there. Doesn't get a lot of playing time. Had to go up against the Joker.
He bodied him up a couple of times.
And he got more aggressive as the game went on. He was pretty timid at the beginning, and Joker had his way, basically, as he does with pretty much anybody in the league. But Luka was pushing back and was aggressive, knocking down some shots. I mean, he let everything out there on the court last night, and it was a hoot to watch. And good for the young man who many times doesn't see the full floor at all. I hope he earned a few more minutes of playing time in Chris Finch's eyes after the way he performed last night. So back at it against Cleveland on Friday, and good for the Wild, man. That's a nice. Obviously, doesn't win. They had to have last night against a bad Anaheim team, but 3 points out. Still got time.
Hell yeah, man!
All right, hang on,
for it.
strike this. This is DraftKings says Feb 22nd. That's a month ago, so I don't know why this is not updated. So maybe those odds are slightly off. I don't know.
We'll
I'm refreshing it. Either way.
All right.
What else do we have here? Is that pretty much
We have
enough?
break time.
Yeah, that's pretty much
break
enough.
time now. Rosen, you killed that segment. Well
I
done.
got that 4 versus 4 coming up too.
Can't wait.
Well, let's do that when we get back. So far, Sauce is the only one that's done it.
Yeah, that's
Corey,
fine.
Rosie
Defeats the
and I,
purpose. Let's go.
we're
In.
Corey, I'm not doing it, but I do have this for you as well. In your headline segment, have you heard the Jenny McCarthy audio?
No.
Just saw the headline.
It's really, really interesting. I've always liked her for multiple reasons.
I can think of a couple of
Yeah,
reasons.
but also I think she's kind of cool, right? Where do you hear about her journey to being on Singled Out?
Oh boy.
How she got the bit? Pretty
Interesting.
yeah.
I love that show. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
The Power Trip hits the road at Treasure Island Resort and Casino March 28th and 29th. Join us in the Parlay Lounge on the 28th from 7 to 9 p.m. as we play games for great prizes, including a mock initials game for a trip to Las Vegas. Then stick around for Friday morning as we broadcast live from TI, host the first initials major of the year, and give away another trip to Las Vegas. For more info, head over to KFAN.com and the keyword calendar.
Great job, Zacho. Hey, Zach?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Daddy.
Seems sincere.
Yeah, it didn't seem
Nice of you
sincere
to
at
care,
all.
Zach.
I'm trying to help these kiddos out, Mark Rosen. They don't say
I
you're
know.
welcome or thank
Take
you.
them under your
I
wing.
know, I'm
It's
trying my
just a
best.
constant struggle.
And I only have so much wing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
And wang. Both those things. I don't have so much of
Your
those.
poor Wang.
Weird. What's a weird sentence?
Well, you brought it up. You brought your Wang up.
Did I really?
Kind of. All right, Rosie, before
Come
we
on,
get into
Rosie.
headlines, you have the 4 teams you would like for the core versus 4. Again, you get to pick any 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Doesn't matter if it's the number 1 seeds, 2 seeds, whatever you want. I get the field.
Right.
Although I have already lost a couple of teams, which really sucks. I lost
Wagner, one of Hawks teams.
Wagner and
One of those
Virginia.
teams playing game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
they're
are-
both gone. So
understand.
I'm down to 66 teams.
Well, quite honestly, I've never felt more ill-prepared. I've spent probably less time watching men's college basketball this year than I ever have. I couldn't name 4 players in men's college basketball. I can name a lot more in women's. I think I've watched more. But having said that, it's time because it is March Madness is here. I mean, it's what we do.
Yep.
So I get 4 teams, right?
Yeah.
You get 4. Any 4 you want.
Well, I mean,
Have at it.
the only favorite chalk I'm going to take is I got to go with UConn, obviously, because
makes sense.
it makes sense. The rest of them, I'm going to throw the proverbial dart at.
Oh, yeah. Who farted?
Starting what?
Did you hear that?
No, none of us heard that.
Starting with Tennessee out of the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the Volunteers in the Midwest.
Sauce also picked UConn in Tennessee. That's
he
fine.
did. I have no idea
You're
who he
allowed to
picked.
overlap,
Yeah.
of course. You
Yeah.
just pick whatever 4 you
And
want.
I'm going to take, and I hate doing this. It was a battle between UNC and Arizona, and the West Coast teams is rarely. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with UNC. I'll go with North Carolina because I just don't trust those West Coast teams, the schedule they play. I think, North Carolina plays a much tougher schedule. And then I'm going to take a flyer on the East Regional and go with Marquette.
Marquette.
Yes, over
Not
Houston.
bad.
Houston's not going to. I think Houston's going to falter. Kentucky's Kentucky. I mean, Colorado's decent. The Bucky's okay this year. They're okay. I'm going to go with Marquette. I think they're the better team in Wisconsin, so I'll go with Marquette. So you got them? Marquette, UConn, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Good luck to me.
Welcome aboard.
Way to go, buddy.
If it was the core versus 5, I think I would take my Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah,
Yay.
you love Kentucky.
I do.
You really do.
Hey, congrats to Ben Johnson's team. They won the NIT
Hawk is
game
pumped
last
about
night.
They sure did, man. Great game, great play. Way to go, Parker Fox. We love you.
Yeah, go Parker. Yeah, exactly. They live for another day. They play Indiana State now next in the next round of the
That's
NIT.
probably what, tomorrow?
I think it is. I think Indiana State. Well, I don't know.
Those
Indiana
might
State
play-
plays tonight. I
They
think
play
it's
tonight.
Okay. All right,
If Indiana State wins, then we face off against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Which is the best nickname?
Best nickname
Well,
of
they
all
got to
time.
play Larry Bird if Indiana State wins.
No, it's Cream.
Cream, CREA.
Yeah, have
Yeah.
you not seen
You haven't
that
seen this bit?
It's-
I have not.
You might have been on vacation.
There's a
when that
giant
happened.
dude, giant white guy for Indiana State that
No.
wears goggles, and his nickname is Cream, C-R-E-A-M,
You gotta look it up,
Cream
Rosie.
Abdul-Jabbar, because he's just a tall white guy that
Does
does
he
little
play?
hook shots.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God,
yeah.
I hope. I'll have
He
to
made the
watch
news
that.
because Indiana State hit the top 25 a couple of weeks ago
Right.
for the first time since Bird, and then didn't make the tournament.
Oh, my. Yeah, they're the favorite, I think,
Yeah.
in the NIT.
Second
Go
round.
get him, Parker.
Second round begins on Saturday.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yep.
We got
So-
till Saturday. All right.
All right.
Now it's time for headlines.
Yes, they were.
Whoa, Rosie. That's weird.
Relax.
Yeah,
That was
Rosie.
you.
Lady Gaga returning to Vegas this summer for her jazz and piano residency.
Nice.
I like Lady Gaga. I'm not interested in jazz and piano.
Well, you're saying-
I want
What's your
Alejandro.
Well, she'll play that.
Poker face.
Don't tell me what to do.
What?
She won't let me.
That's the story. That's the story when I was with my
asked
attorney.
nicely.
Wasn't somebody
With
screaming
Tony
that?
Bennett and Lady Gaga are out there. And this guy who was completely smashed had no idea who Tony Bennett was. Started screaming out from his row, sing Poker Face.
Oh, he's right.
I know. It's like, God, Tony
I'd
Bennett.
rather have Tony Bennett sing Poker Face and have Lady Gaga do
Play the-
jazz and piano.
It'd be hard for him to do it now.
It would be.
that's
It is. It's sad.
It'd be amazing.
I love
Mark!
it, man. I love that guy.
everyone did.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been 44 years since Robin Williams played Popeye in the 1980 film, but a live-action Popeye movie is in development. They
Again.
are apparently going to redo it.
Who's going to play Popeye?
Who would you like to see play Popeye?
Let me think
That's a
about
great
this for a
question.
second.
Robin Williams ad-libbed most of the movie, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
No,
But that
Hawk
lady
loved
who
it,
played
though.
Olive Oil couldn't have been a more perfect.
Wasn't it
Olive
Shelley
Oil.
Duvall?
Yeah, Shelley
yeah,
Duvall
right.
from
Yeah.
Shining.
Yeah, she couldn't have been a more perfect Olive Oil.
Correct.
Yeah.
She looks like olive oil.
And that movie may have sucked, but again, it came out the year I was born. So when I saw it in 86 or
Right.
87, I
loved
loved
it.
that movie because I loved the cartoon Popeye
Sure.
anyway. So I thought that movie at the time was probably the greatest movie ever made. I didn't know it sucked.
Have you ever
And
had spinach in your life?
0 times.
Spinach is disgusting.
It is off.
The
Except spinach dip is
Popeye
great.
Nintendo video game is great.
Yep.
Thanks,
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
I was going to say Larry.
I love that.
Oh, thanks.
Well, you're going to love this too, Jer Bear. Emily Ratajkowski took her engagement ring and had it made into 2 divorce rings
Boy.
and then modeled them topless.
Why?
Really? I want to ask why.
I want to ask why, yeah. But why?
Yeah, right.
Rosie, when it comes to questions and decisions like that, I don't think any of us should
No, we
question it.
don't.
Just let her do what she wants.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
She's a big girl.
Wow.
Button bar.
Yeah, right, Rose.
Rose.
I mean,
I meant from a decision-making
Yeah, I
standpoint.
meant from every standpoint.
Perfect boobs.
Exactly right, Rose.
why do you keep pressing that button, Rosie?
I didn't even know you had that on your phone.
Blink 182, SZA, Tyler the Creator, The Killers, and Hozier are the headliners for this year's Lollapalooza in Chicago.
I love that.
Well,
Jerry can't wait.
then you're going to also love that the Deftones are there, Tate McRae, and
Yep.
Skrillex. So I think Barrero's going.
I think
Why?
he is going. Yeah.
Where's that at, by the way? Does anybody know? Like
Chicago.
Grant Park.
I know
Park.
that, but yeah,
Been
okay,
there
I'm sorry.
forever.
But like, where's that, Rosie? In regards to like, let's say Soldier Field, is it downtown?
It's
like
not that far from Soldier Field.
Okay.
Actually, it's on the way. That's right. Down. Yeah, downtown,
Is it on the waterfront,
basically.
kind of, though?
Yes, it's near the waterfront.
Interesting,
but
okay.
Grant Park.
Grant Park's sweet.
Was the historic site of the riots back in '68.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on the way towards Soldier Field, and it's still a big hit, obviously.
170 plus artists over 4 days
Incredible.
across 8 stages.
Yep.
I saw most of the list. I mean, obviously, Deftones one of my all-time favorite bands, but I don't know.
I don't know a lot of the artists headlining a lot
Exactly.
of festivals, man. I am officially old.
Yeah, it's what happens when you get old.
Yep.
It's okay.
You know? Yeah, it's
Like a
fine.
book.
No,
Just write a book, dude.
I ain't got time.
He ain't got time.
Hey, remember a couple months ago we had Cy Amundsen on the show, and he said during COVID he kind of fought against big shampoo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And he basically said, look at how my luscious locks are flowing. We're getting scammed. You don't have to shampoo your hair every week or every month. You can just let it go.
I don't know about that, but I don't do it every day.
But didn't he basically say he had gone like a couple of years or something?
You could tell.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, the New York Post posted a story on social media about how the social media fueled, quote, no shampoo trend, the hashtag no shampoo, is gigantic among teenage boys. That boys across the country are saying, yeah, screw it, we're not shampooing our hair anymore. What? But experts say not shampooing can cause dandruff, stunt hair growth, and worsen pre-existing scalp problems.
Right.
Yeah, that's just
Can't
big
imagine.
shampoo.
That's more propaganda
Yeah.
Big shampoo.
from Big Shampoo.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Big Shampoo was a rapper, I think, too.
R.I.P. though.
Yeah,
He's
died.
dead?
Yeah, he died from not washing
How?
his hair. Hi. Good to see you, buddy.
2 armed intruders broke into a home in Connecticut.
Boy, everybody's got 2 arms, Corey.
Yeah.
Not that, not that new Vikings brother.
No, he has arms. He doesn't have hands.
God. And
Hand. Thanks.
2 guys that had
Doogie
guns
Howser.
and an unknown number of hands broke into a home in Connecticut looking to steal an expensive cat,
Yep.
but they couldn't find the cat.
What makes an expensive cat? Hawk, don't answer
Its
that.
value.
Oh. Expensive
You're
cats.
the
for
worst.
sale.
Thank you.
Yeah, they couldn't find it. Again, that's what I hate about bad criminals. Planning.
You like smooth ones, don't you?
Sure.
Great point. Can we play it?
I mean,
Shut it.
Okay.
you're going to break into a home with guns. It's to the point where if we have to shoot an MF here, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to get this cat.
Yeah.
You don't even know where the cat is in the house?
There's a cat breed called a Shira. They go
Right.
for $125,000.
Right.
Two
What if
billion,
it's that one?
700 million.
Let's assume it's that one.
There's also a
You
cat
got to know where it is.
breed called Peterbald. All right.
hey,
Interesting.
Bengal cats can cost up to $25,000.
man.
Why?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know,
buddy boy.
Go to the Humane Society and adopt one.
Right.
said,
There's
Rosie.
plenty of kitty cats looking for
No
homes.
kidding.
There's a lot of
Yep.
intruders looking for kitty cats.
Yeah, but they've all got
Striking
2
out.
arms.
41% of renters now, Rosie, say that their American dream has nothing to do with future homeownership.
I believe
And 20% of those renters expect to be lifelong renters.
I think the idea growing up that you save for a house, you buy a house, you get the equity will be part of your nest egg when you can retire.
Yep.
That's sort of the way that the world worked back then, and it did for the most part. I'm not saying the dream is entirely dead, but it certainly has changed the landscape over the years.
I think the dream would still be in place if across the country it was easier to buy a home.
Right, correct.
But it's very hard.
Right.
Now the interest rates, everything else. But
Unless you get an unbelievable deal. We learned
Right.
24 hours ago that Chris Hockey recently bought a house for $50,000.
I heard you guys talking about
and
that.
he's worth $5 million. That's the American dream.
It's really
Good
unbelievable.
for you,
It's like
Hogs,
I'm
Daddy.
playing Monopoly out here and you guys are playing Boggle.
23% of renters like the location flexibility of renting, and 17% like the financial flexibility.
And some of us are just waiting for
Beth.
Jesus.
Yeah, not Beth.
Yeah,
Death.
it's a different world.
Yep.
So many ways.
Yep.
A Florida sheriff's office poked fun at somebody who put a for sale sign on one of the deputy's patrol cars.
Oh boy.
They also said they were disappointed in the minimal interest in this, quote, beautiful vehicle. So they didn't get a lot of calls.
You know what should be illegal? Cars that look like cop cars or at one point were cop cars.
Yeah, I hate that too.
From driving down the road behind me.
Because you just assumed it's an unmarked car trying to pull you over. Yeah.
It should be illegal.
Oh,
yeah, I agree.
Speaking of cop cars, yesterday when I was leaving this fine establishment, I saw somebody get pulled over.
Great.
And there were a car behind the car that got pulled over and then a cop car in front, right? Like,
we have no interest in what's going on with you.
They'd sandwiched it in.
Ooh.
And as I drove by it.
Then you got hungry?
On Louisiana. Oh, God, a sandwich would be great. The cop went to the back of his car to pull out a very large weapon.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what happened because I kept driving.
Great story. Compelling and rich.
Man, that is...
We were talking about cops.
No, I get what you're saying.
What?
But, boy, talk about having no information.
I just drove away.
Yeah. Yesterday, a big ball rose into the sky. Don't know what it was.
Back to you.
That was the sun.
I was the sun.
You guys hate me.
No, I love you. I love you. You make me laugh.
That's why I'm
and
here.
feel good about my own intelligence.
Oh.
I'm kidding. That was a joke that went too far. Boink.
Well, Rosie.
Boink.
Look, it's been a rough year the last couple of years for straight white men, right?
Oh, it sure has.
Rock bottom for straight white guys.
Right.
What happened?
The best of possible news for us whiteys. Aaron Taylor Johnson is reportedly in talks to become the next James Bond, and I guess later this week he is expected to accept the role. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I have no idea who that is.
I've heard the name a million times.
Face?
If you see his face, you might be like, I think I know.
Quicksilver in the Marvel movies.
That doesn't help.
Nope.
Rosie,
I am just telling.
But
I don't know this man.
he has been in Kickass, Bullet Train, Avengers, The Age of Ultron. He's been
There's
in a
movie
handful of
called
movies.
Kick-Ass Bullet Train?
Kickass, comma, Bullet Train. Kick-Ass Bullet Train was, I think, Money Train with Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
He was also in a movie about my life story, Nowhere Boy.
That's great. Hey, I don't know. I don't think I know this.
Lame attempt at humor, swing and a miss.
I mean, this guy's perfect if he's a good actor. I don't know, but I can't believe I don't know this face at all.
Zacko?
I'm a big fan of that, though, right? It's what I always talk about, like when it comes to Breaking Bad. I never watched Malcolm in the Middle, so I got a fresh start when Bryan Cranston was Walter White. Mm-hmm. I never saw Felicity, so watching Carrie Russell on The Americans was kind of my first exposure to her. Right, I've heard this name before. I've never seen him in a movie. I don't recognize this guy almost at all.
I can see this guy as James Bond, though. Like if you're looking at pictures of him, like he's got a classic beauty to him.
But he doesn't. He has a. Does he have a beard or sort of a beard?
I think he's married.
Is he going to have to shave that?
Well, sure. I mean, maybe.
Maybe Pierce Bronson had a beard at the beginning of.
Pierce Bronson.
Who's Pierce Bronson?
They shave those now. Rosie, you're getting ripped.
By who?
That's at 2:00 today.
By who?
You.
Every day I walk in here.
No way. I'd never rip Rosen.
No, at 2:00. I mean.
What?
I love you.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, did you see anything else you didn't understand yesterday, Sauce?
No, I just thought it was interesting. But you can't, start a Gawker's slowdown and rubbernecking or whatever it's called by looking at it. But he pulled out a massive weapon.
Rubber what?
Necking.
A bad bet is proving costly for a Tampa game show contestant, Corey.
Go on.
Troy Meyer lost in last night's episode of the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions.
Oh, yeah. I watched it.
Did you? Okay, cool. I didn't see anything about it, but this is...
smart play by the guy who won.
The music executive led going into the final Jeopardy round by $3,200 over Yogesh Raut. The category was the human body, and both Meyer and Raut got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Meyer, though, bet over $13,000, while Raut bet just $3,200. $3,201, I should say. That dropped Meyer to third place and made Raut the champion. So the guy bet too much money on an answer he didn't know.
Well, he bet the amount of money, though, that it would have required if Yogesh had bet his entire stack. Troy bet enough to cover that. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying.
So
okay,
the guy who won, what he did was bet $1 more than what I believe Troy had started Final Jeopardy with.
Gotcha.
So he was basically saying, I'm just going to have to hope that the other guy gets it wrong, because otherwise I can't catch him if he bets enough to cover my stack, which he did. I keep saying stack like it's poker, but you know what I'm saying?
I get it, yep.
So I didn't hate either theory. It's just he bet a ton and lost, and that was the clinching game.
So did he win by $1?
No.
Okay,
no.
I'm stupid. I don't understand. But cool. Got
no,
it.
because he bet 13,000 plus or whatever. He ended up losing a bunch.
Okay,
so,
got it,
by the way, I didn't know the Tournament of
Because they both
Champions
got it
worked
wrong.
like this. It was the same three guys, and they basically did a best out of 7 kind of. They did the first one to win 3 games, and that was the clincher. That put Yogesh as the winner. So it's all over.
He won $250,000.
Yep, and the guy Troy who lost yesterday's game finished third, because I believe he only won 1 game in the series, so he won $50K for finishing third.
That's right.
I know Chris has to get to that audio. We did promo that, right? The Jenny McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at you, Rosen.
Man,
I'm just used to.
You love Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
But I'll say
And I
this
don't
again,
blame
though,
you
about
a bit.
Jeopardy, one final Jeopardy thought.
Sure.
Tournament of Champions Jeopardy is the roughest one because it's the best of the best, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you watch
Agreed.
regular Jeopardy, once in a while you can feel pretty smart. Like I say, if you watch Celebrity Jeopardy, it's like I just crush and I feel like a genius. Tournament of Champions Jeopardy is really tough
Genius
because
level.
the first question in every category, I'm like, easy, piece of cake. Once you get anywhere near down the bottom of the board, I've never even heard of the things they're saying.
I hate that.
As answers. It's so impossible.
There's always 2 or 3 categories that I just know I'm not going to know a single answer to.
Right.
Even the $200 one.
Yeah, it's really tough. Those guys are super smart.
Jenny McCarthy, for those of you who are younger than, let's say, 30, was Pamela Anderson level a celebrity back in the 80s, not 90s,
yep.
90s and 2000s.
Well, she was in the era in the 90s where, the internet wasn't a thing yet.
Right.
So there was celebrities who were celebrities for nudity, but not like there are on OnlyFans now. It was Anna Nicole Smith, Jenny McCarthy, Pam Anderson. We would have these famous bombshells just because they were in Playboy.
Yeah.
Right.
And not just because they were in Playboy, because a lot of gals were, but they were somehow even more abnormal than the other 10s that were in Playboy. And Jenny McCarthy was one of them.
That's right.
Playmate of the Year, and then just a gigantic star for about, most of the rest of the decade.
We're going to start with her actually getting her big break in Playboy because this is pretty interesting.
I was actually in a Polish grocery store working there for 7 years, and we sold Playboys there. And I remember ringing somebody up and going, I can do that. It was Anna Nicole Smith, who was the year before me. So I sent in Polaroids to modeling agencies. I was rejected by all of them. And then I decided to just go to the Playboy building and ask. I said, how do people become Playmates? They go, they don't walk in. You have to send a photo. And I was like, all right, bye. I was waiting for the elevator, and the editor walked by, and he said, we have a photo shoot. Do you want to just throw on a bikini?
Are you kidding?
No. And I said, okay. Then I took the bus home. By the time I got home, there was a voicemail on my answering machine that said, we want to test you for Miss October. By the next year, I was Playmate of the Year.
How about that?
Wow.
Okay, let's just stop there though for a second. Even let's say the person who said, do you want to throw on a bikini and go to this photo shoot?
Right.
Let's say that person's on the up and up and is the most professional photographer or Playboy executive of all time.
Yeah.
There's still just something creepy about getting into an elevator and going, you want to go upstairs and throw on a bikini?
Right.
For me?
Yeah, right.
And we'll see what happens. Right. It's even if you think she's got a chance, there's just something creepy about that kind of leverage.
In today's world, you're 100% right.
Yep.
And at that time, even though it wasn't that long ago,
Yep.
But it was in the Playboy building, right?
Yeah, it was in the Playboy building.
Yeah, because I think isn't she from the Chicago area?
I believe that's right.
I think you are correct, yeah.
Right, because she is Melissa McCarthy's cousin. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mary Jim Carrey.
And she's one of the Wahlberg who's in Blue Bloods.
Donnie.
Hawk loves.
New Kid on the Block, right? I believe she's Donnie Wahlberg's
Blue Bloods,
wife.
great show, right,
From
Hawk?
Sixth Sense. A
Great
show.
Oh, I love that show.
That is a really good show. Tom Selleck and that whole show's good, man. That's
Especially
a good
when they have dinner.
Yeah, exactly. When they're all together at the end and stuff like that.
Makes you hungry, doesn't it? Every
makes you
single
hungry
time.
every time. And there's
Why
always
can't I
something
get
going
invited
on.
to that dinner?
You probably would, Rosen.
I would.
Pretty cool.
But again, let's go back to not being super creepy. Like if you're an
no idea
American
how to do
Idol
that.
judge and you see hundreds of singers, you still know the ones immediately, like this one's different.
Yeah.
So like I said, even if this guy is a
On the up and
nice,
up.
normal, non-creeper, there's still something weird about going, this one's special.
Yeah.
And he was right because she was.
Yeah.
She's abnormally pretty. She's very dynamic. She was great on TV. She's still on TV. She's on The Masked Singer now, 30 years later.
Another great show, right, Hawk?
Chris loves it.
I do love
McCarthy's had a 30-year professional media career because of her looks.
Right. Impressive.
At least to start her looks. The rest of it kept her going.
You're right. There's something. Some people you can see their personality. No, for real. I mean, some people you can see their personality just looking at a still shot of them.
Yeah.
And she's one of those people, man.
That's very well said, Hawk.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And you spent a lot of time looking at her still shots.
Maybe more than the average bear, sure.
Yep.
One more soundbite from her, though, Rose. This is what I was talking about. She wanted to be on Singled Out. I don't even know if she knew it was a show called Singled Out. She just wanted to be on television as like a regular television person. And she ended up being on Singled Out. Here's how she got it, because they didn't want a Playboy Playmate.
I got cast on MTV, but they rejected me 17 times.
MTV did.
They said, we'll never have a Playmate on this network. So I snuck into the auditions, disguised myself until I got down to the final 2. And they're like, are you that Playmate that kept calling? I'm like, So that was it.
Do you know who you were up against?
Yeah, some female comedian that I can't remember, but she was doing jokes, and I wasn't. I was just being like strong, because you got to be with all these guys.
Yes.
You know? So I was being kooky and just myself, and I got it.
And that
show was awesome.
And she was awesome on that show.
Great.
By the way, thanks to Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
great show.
But again, you're right, Rosie. You just said it. Persistence.
Yeah.
Like all those things she wanted to do, she went and got them.
You got to keep going. Yeah,
You just got to go.
Doesn't just get handed to you.
Yeah.
And she was awesome on that show. Chris Hardwick, when Chris Hardwick wasn't Chris Hardwick, right?
Yeah.
That was his first big
For
break.
sure, yeah.
Do you remember the premise of that show, Rosie, or not?
I don't.
So
I never.
There would be. It was a
rarely
dating
saw it.
show. There'd be 50 people standing behind one person who couldn't see the people behind him, right? And they would ask a question, and it was kind of like a yes or no, or like, would you prefer this or that? And whoever answered incorrectly would get eliminated and walk in front of the person. So they got to see all of these attractive people that were eliminated, and they ended up eliminating people until they were down to, I think, 3? Was it 3 at the end?
Yeah.
And then they had a final kind of challenge, and then you would single one person out, and that person would win a date with the person who does. So it was kind of like, what was the show back in the day? The Dating Game.
Yeah, right.
Just with 50 people instead of 3.
And less
You would
serial
narrow
killers.
it down to
Right.
1.
But then you'd have like a save, or if like some super hottie walked by, you'd go, hey.
And here's what happened all the time. Here's what happened all the time. It would always be, when it was 50 gals and one guy, all the gals would be walking by, and one gal that looked like Jenny McCarthy, and he would just immediately throw the chain over that gal and be like, nope, save this one. Send this one back to the pile.
Wasn't it like a...
It was super...
like a lifesaver from like a boat?
MTV,
Yeah, I think it was a buoy. I think you're right. Maybe.
Yeah, it was MTV, Rosie.
MTV.
Yeah,
And then I think after McCarthy was done, wasn't it Carmen Electra later?
I think you're right.
I think she took over for McCarthy later.
Yeah, it was good afternoon entertainment.
The best. Yeah, as a teenager, I freaking loved Singled Out.
Yeah, so good.
Awesome. Rosie, thanks for the Core
My
versus
pleasure.
4.
Yeah, of course.
See you next week.
I will be here. Thank you.
All right, no, Lever's still gone tomorrow, but is Tommy back? I think Tommy's back tomorrow, right?
I believe that, unless he still has pink eye. Was I not supposed to say that on the radio?
Nope.
Okay, good.
9 to noon is next.
All the questions answered.